Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day, wherever you may be around the globe. I know it's a good Friday morning. It could be a good Friday afternoon or a good Friday evening, wherever it may be. We're hoping that you are enjoying this day because this is certainly a beautiful day. Isn't it, Tiffany? It's a beautiful day
Gorgeous
to
day.
wake up to something brand new or to move into something brand new. And it's the day before the weekend, y'all. What do y'all have planned for this weekend? The day before the weekend. And we just say what it's Saturday Eve, right? Saturday Eve. But for the most part, we're just hoping that you are having a fantastic day wherever you may be. And with that being said, I'm Gertrude J. Chapman, your number one inspirational book coach. And I teach you how to maximize your potential because I believe that you have gems inside of you. You have treasures inside of you. You have things inside of you that's very important to people on the outside. Because don't just assume that people know everything that you know. There are people who are searching for the information that you have. And like I said, I'm a book coach and I teach women how to write their books and how to be productive and how to get that value outside of them and put it in a book form, saving them time and also helping them to avoid making those costly mistakes. Because a pet peeve of mine is having your books sitting around in a corner in a garage in boxes deteriorating. Because I don't believe anybody's message or book should be there. But your book should be working for you. It should be reaching your audience. And with that being said, let me introduce my co-host, Tiffany Rochelle.
Yo, good morning. Good morning. Super grateful to be here, being in the land of the living, being viewed and or being seen and not viewed, I should say. So I'm super grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I am Tiffany Rochelle. I was born and raised that. And so I am an author. I'm a heart and goal coach. And I'm also the co-host of this wonderful show that you are tuning into. So what I do is I help to encourage women to rid the toxins from their hearts and to set goals that are true to you. Because I believe out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. So I also, in being an author, I had to write a particular book. And the book that I wrote is called I Choose Me. I definitely believe that is something that everyone should do. I think it's a good thing to become selfish and go ahead and choose you. You cannot effectively deal with individuals, or you cannot effectively be the best person you need to be if you don't choose you first, because you got to help you before you can help somebody else. So if you want to, go ahead and grab that book that is available on Amazon.com. Again, it's called I Choose Me. Miss Gertrude always is so gracious to ask us how we're doing. So I'm going to answer her and tell her I am fabulous on this fabulous Friday. So it's a good thing if you will chime in and let us know how you are doing in the comments. The comments are our best friend. So please drop your comments in the chat. If you have any questions or concerns, put that in the chat. Tell us how you're doing. Also share this broadcast if at any time it is a beautiful blessing to you. It'll be grateful. We'll be grateful for you to share this on your timeline or use the little share link and text it to a friend, family member, or a coworker, or somebody that you believe that will be able to be that will able to benefit from this program. So go ahead and share that. And so at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over into the capable hands of our host. The floor is now yours, and it's all you. We're about to turn our passion into profit.
Yes, we turn our passion into profit. And that's something that we want you all to, think about. Think about what you are passionate about. Think about that one thing that really lights you up. What is that one thing that, people are always calling you about and they're asking for your information, how you do this? It might be even a recipe, Tiffany. It could be a recipe. It could be some advice, whatever it may be. And we're talking to, those entrepreneurs out there, those women entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs in general. We're not going to cut anybody off, even though our audience is particularly women. But you might have something special on the inside of you that people are always calling you and asking you about. It could be, from your job, or something of that nature. And you are the guru in whatever you do at that corporation. And your boss is always calling on you because he know that you could get this thing done. So what is that one thing inside of you that you could shed light on to teach somebody else? Because remember this, there are 63,000 Google searches every second of every day of people looking for information that you already know about. You're that expert in that field. So whose interests, okay? Whose questions can you answer? Let's put it that way. Whose questions can you answer? Because we all live busy lives, Tiffany. And people are, they don't have time to get there on Google and search through all those, all that information, or, go there on YouTube and, search for information. They're looking for a book in a condensed format. So when we're talking about turning your passion into profit, you could take that information that's on the inside of you and allow your book to work for you. No longer do you have to chase people, but your book will be out there working for you, opening those doors for you. Have you ever thought about that? How your book can open doors for you? That's a great thing.
Your book definitely opens doors for you, and it's like you said, you don't have to be that individual that's out there chasing chasing individuals.
Mm-hmm.
By you putting your information in that book, you're presenting that. All you're now doing is kind of like being a presenter, so to speak, more so than you're having to say, hey, I want to go do this, and you're expelling a whole bunch of information. You've already put all that in the book. So now you just, hey, I'm Tiffany Rochelle. Here's my book. That's my business card. We talked about that. That does it. So here is all the information that you need. There it is. You don't have to worry about telling. Now you'll give them a brief synopsis of whatever's going on, but you've poured out already in the book. There's no purpose in you having to go do that. If the person wants it, they do. If not, now all you are is just, hey, this is the presentation of it. You want it, hate it, love it, or leave it. So stop chasing people. You already have the information. Just present it to them, and that's it. That's
that is good, because I actually spoke with somebody the other day. I was having a meeting with this individual, and she said, well, I don't do business cards. I just hand out my book. And this is a great way, and people have to understand this is a great form of communication. You got to get up with the times. Things are rapidly changing. The internet is evolving. Things are changing, technology. So you have to change with technology. Good morning, Christine. How you doing this morning? Thank you for being here. But, and this is something we're going to talk about, on this show, about traditional publishing versus self-publishing. You have to be up with technology. You got it. We have to change. Absolutely. We have to evolve. And especially for those who are baby boomers, okay? You have to change. You can't, no longer sit back and continue to do the things the same way that you've been doing it and expect different results or greater results, however that might seem, okay? Right. You just can't do that because things are changing, and you have to embrace those things. Now, for the most part, sometimes, not sometimes, these were things that were for a particular era. Okay. When we're talking about, publishing, when we're talking about the internet, when we're talking about using our books right now instead of business cards, who uses business cards? Okay. Who get their business cards printed? Because they have gone to digital formats, digital formats. And a book, a lot of times a book, let me talk about a book for a minute, okay? A lot of times when you have your book, and this is a doorway to corporations, say consulting or different things of that nature. If you want to consult at a certain place, they would want to see your book first, okay? They don't want nothing else. They don't want the business card or anything else, because everything they need to know about you or that subject is in that book. Is in that book. And that's very important for this day and age, especially in 2022 and beyond. Have to stop doing some of those things that were in the past, like newspaper advertising, and all of these things are in the digital age. Things are or more on this format. I even was I wasn't talking, I heard this on a Zoom meeting I was on, and they were talking about how before, they a lot of times people was shy off for the Zoom meetings and different things of that nature, but now how they're embracing it. So these are some of the things that authors that you have to think about. You have to think about. You have to really get in there and think about some of these things and take away some of those limitations that may be in your mind, thinking that this way is better than that way because this is something that has been done in the past. But that's not necessarily true. That's not true at all, because really in this era and in this stage, I mean, the digital world and the evolving of the internet, I mean, it's sweet. Okay, automation, these things are sweet, because I'm gonna tell you, we are living busy lives each and every day. And if it wasn't for automation, a lot of us could not keep up. Okay? Of course, there's a touch. You personally touch people, but really, you have to have that automation in there. You have to have things in this digital space in order to reach your audience, because our audiences are around the world. Our audience are not local. Okay? It's no more the brick and mortar, it's around the world. Okay, and we talking about, and this is another limitation too, Tiffany, that they could be, limitations in the mind of not wanting to expand. We have to get out that mindset where our minds are expanded to reach the world stage, to reach the global stage, and not remain in that brick and mortar mindset, because that's a mindset there, that brick and mortar mindset. And that'll move us into, I want you to chime in before we move into the first talking point.
Sure. I mean, I grasp the concept. I mean, elevation and expansion is always a great thing for us to do. I will say the brick and mortar thing. I kind of like I like the feeling of the brick and mortar thing, because it gives you that personal touch. It gives you that exclusivity, because it kind of almost gives you that family feeling, low key. So I like the aspect of feeling like I'm the only person that matters. But then you have to understand that I just like that particular element of it, but just understand you should be able to reach more than. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to expand your borders. Growing is always in order. It's something that you never want to ever negate yourself from doing. Always be willing to grow. Always be wanting to expand. That's always a great thing to do. It's just to grow. So these internet streets out here, they can be a safe thing to do. You're learning how to navigate through them is the catch. However, it's great to learn to do something else. And if you don't have to always just get in there and figure it out. Find somebody that's willing to help you to grow through the process of it. But knowing how to use the internet, how to use live, how to use Zoom. Sometimes we get scared and don't want to evolve or expand, because you see everybody's on these Zoom meetings, everybody's on these lives, everybody's doing this, and we don't want to do it because of fear of not knowing how to do it. But it's okay to learn to do certain things. There's still certain things about my iPhone that I still don't know how to do. I'll call my kids and be like, hey, can you tell me how to do this? What's going on here? I need to understand what's going on. Or either I'll be one of those millions of searchers on Google figuring out how to do that, to figure out what's going on, so I can become an individual to effectively utilize my iPhone. But I'm not afraid to learn how to do that. And I'm also not afraid to ask for help. So don't be afraid to do that. Expand your borders, and growth is good. Growth is always in order.
Growth is good. And with that being said, we want to just mention to you right now, and we want you to get this in mind that we have a workshop that's coming up next month. It's February the what, 17th? Is that what it is? The
16th, I believe it is.
16th, 17th?
No, you're right. It's the 17th, Allied. Yes, it's the 17th.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, the 17th. And we're going to be dropping that information shortly so you will know about this. But, it's a workshop that's coming up talking about, setting your goals. And then after that, we're having a conference in March. And just like Tiffany was saying about, these how to's, it's teaching our authors how to expand, from their books, how to walk into that next level of opportunities that surround them that they may not know how to do. So, this is something that we're excited about. So, let us know. I was talking to even somebody yesterday. I forgot. Keisha, as a matter of fact, Tiffany. I was talking to Keisha yesterday, and she said how much she appreciated, us dropping value, giving her value, and that's the great thing right there. When we could reach people around the globe and drop that value into their place wherever they may be in order for them to grow or to expand from that. And it was just something that blessed me to say this, that this is real talk. Yeah, this is real talk, because this is where authors are. Okay, this is not teaching them, oh well, this is the correct word that you should write, or the correct way you should write it. This is where authors really live. Okay, we're touching where people really live. This is the real deal here. And especially when we're talking about traditional or indie, it's your choice. And indie is just something self-publishing, okay? Whether you're a traditional publisher or self-publisher, it's your choice. One is no better than the other. And we're just going to break it down this morning to let you know, okay, you have a choice. Either you want to go traditional or self-publishing. The choice is yours. But we're going to break it down today. When you're doing it traditionally, okay, using a traditional publisher, you don't have many rights. Okay, you also get a small percentage of your royalties, because everything that publishing house is going to do for your book, it's going to cost you. And we're going to talk about costs a little bit later. It's going to cost you. But, and at one time, that was a way for people to get their books out there. But with the evolving of the internet, then it gave people a choice. It gave authors a choice. Look, I no longer have to, go the traditional route. I could self-publish myself. And then I could take my book and I could upload it, to KDP, which is, the Amazon platform, or Lulu, or Google Play, or any of those other ones out there. Okay. They could do it themselves. You could do it yourself, author. You no longer have to go the traditional route, because, because when you think about it, okay, of course, the traditional publisher will be doing the heavy lifting for you. But you can also do that yourself. You could have complete creative control, okay, where you're writing it, where you having it marketed, where you publishing it, where you have to hire your book coach, where you have to hire your editor, where you have to hire your cover designer. Because there are people out there who this is their talent. This is what they do. As opposed to you going to the publishing house and they doing it all for you. But there's a catch there also, Tiffany. There's a catch there also. And we're going to move, as we move into that, we're going to, share some things with you so you can have a better understanding that just because it's going through a traditional publisher does not make it better. Sometimes people look at traditional publishers because, it's a look good feel for me. Okay? It's a look good thing. Or, excuse me, validation. I've been to such and such publishing house. They published my book. Or they may think because I go through a traditional publisher, now my book could be a household name. Or they may think it can expand their audience because they went through a traditional publisher. But you could do the same as an indie author, as a self-publisher. You could do the same thing. And then they'll give you more time to learn the ins and outs of all of your book instead of relying on somebody else to do it all for you. I'm just saying.
I think some people get scared to do that because it's that they don't know really where to go to and they don't know what to do from that. But as you're giving them there's these tools and telling them the differences of that, I think this should be able to help broaden their horizons in regards to it, and knowing the difference between being self-published and going to a publisher. Sometimes it might be good for you to have somebody with a big name, so to speak, to help you push your book. If I don't want to use the word lazy because I don't want to call anybody lazy, but there are certain things that sometimes you're scared. You took all the energy that it took for you to muster up to write your book. So now I need somebody to help me with this particular process. Somebody help me out here with that. But you giving us the differences and letting us know here is this and these are what your options are. It helps us to alleviate some of the pressure that's inside of us saying, okay, I wrote the book. Now what do I do? Or, if I write the book, how do I begin the process of it? If I write the book, how does it get out there? What do I do? Where do I go? This is great information. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to give them this information. So come on, book coach. I appreciate you. Come on, book coach.
Just give them, an idea. It gives them an idea to make that choice, like you said, on their own, But, you're going to pay. You're going to pay no matter what. When we talked about, investing in yourself at the level that you expect results, you're going to pay, So there's no ifs, ands, and buts getting around it or anything. And I'm going to interject in here also a timeline, okay? A timeline. When you go through a traditional publisher, it's on their timeline. That book doesn't, that's if they take you, okay? That's if they decide to publish you. Point blank, period. A lot of people have been held back. A lot of brilliance has been held back because the publisher didn't publish this book because that publishing house didn't think that it was something that they should publish at that time, and especially from you. Of course, they're going to go with the big names before they go with you. I'm just breaking down the truth to tell people, what to expect. And there's a timeline. But when you are a self-publisher, when you self-publish your own book, when you're that indie author, okay, you launch that book when you want to launch it. And I'm even go one step deep with this because we're talking about, either hardcover or paperback. Go the digital way. You ain't got to even worry about that. Okay? Go the digital way. There's a lot of things digital cuts out. Okay? Well, you don't even have to think about it. But the timeline. Many people got held back or didn't even get their book published after they had done all that work and they done handed in their manuscripts or whatever. They got rejected. I had a person on one of my groups on Facebook, and he said his wife had written a book, okay? And this had been years ago. And I forgot exactly what the subject was about it. But she got turned down by the publisher saying that they didn't think that that book would fly. But that was the very thing in that book, was the very thing that needed to be out at that particular time. Saying her idea was ridiculous. See, these are some things that you got to consider. This is coming from your core. You're the writer. It's coming from your core. Okay? You know what you're writing. Now you're going to have somebody tell you, or it could be something from your experience, something that you're trying to give hope to somebody, and you know it backwards and forward. Okay, this is your expertise, and to have somebody to tell you that they don't think that that book will fly, and then they want to rewrite it a different way.
Yeah.
Yep, you got to think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a beautiful thing. That's why you're helping to give us these options as to knowing, like, when you get rejected, where do you go from there? So if I present something to you and this is what I'm wanting to give for you, and this is what I believe is a good thing, and I present this to you and you reject me, then what do I do? Do I stop, or what happens from there? What is the process? Like, if there's another option, though. There's another option that's out there.
Yes, she went on and, she self-published her book. She did it that way and got her book out there. And like I said, it escapes me. I didn't think about that because I would have looked it up, before I came on the show. I wasn't even thinking about that. But, that was something that sometimes that people have to think about.
Sure.
They notice back and forward. And for one person's opinion, because that one person didn't think that it was a good idea to write that book at that particular time in that genre.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But if it was a big name, if it was a celebrity, that people got out there before. Okay. They'll get pushed back.
Yeah.
Years. Months, years, whatever.
It happens. And that's kind of unfortunate. And that's a beautiful thing by you giving us the option to letting us know that you have this self-publishing thing, is because, especially if you've already went to your editor and the book is in its perfect form, then if you do go to a publisher and they're telling you no, you have another option. Get your book out there. Don't allow that one no to stop you. But now that one no told you that you weren't able to do that, now you know what it is that you're supposed to do. So it goes from an N-O to a K-N-O-W, and you're knowing what to do. The unfortunate thing is we can't allow no's to stop us. So the no has to be transitioned to make us go forward. It should push us and propel us to go in a forward motion versus being in that stagnated. Well, you told me no. If you guys are telling me no, everybody's going to tell me no. Don't allow that one no to stop you. There was a book that I read. I can't. It's called something about knowing. I got to look it up and I'll tell you exactly. As knowing, basically, letting no push you into your success. Don't allow the no's to stop you. So the guys, when he was in a sales call, he allowed it. The more no's he heard, the more it pushed him to go. So he didn't go for just oh, hey, you want to buy this product? Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. The more no's he got, the more it pushed him. So he kind of shifted his mindset, and it caused him to look forward to hearing no. So he didn't have that bad attitude of hearing no didn't stop him. It's like, oh, you told me no, watch me push on. And the more he heard no, the better he became. And his sales end up going up because he was driving to hear the no versus hearing the yes. He celebrated the no's versus celebrating the yes. The yes was a good, of course, the yes is a win, but he looked more so as the no's as a win versus the yeses. So he turned that worldview around. Push for the no. Don't let no stop you. I'm about to find a book though, because that's a good book for us to read.
But that's so true, huh? That is so true. The no's, you see, that's just like when we talk about the fear and the objections and stuff like that. Allow those things, those negative things, to be a launching pad or a propeller to get you to that next level.
It's called go for no.
That's a mindset shift.
It is. It is.
Oh, who you gonna tell me no? I know this. This is my expertise. I know this back and forth. Who are you to tell me no? You have to have that mindset. You have to, be determined in yourself. You have to know who you are. And that's why we talk about expertise. When you know that you know that you know.
That you know that you know.
Yes. Okay? You don't back down. You go in, you find your way. Be that indie author.
Yeah.
Get out there and publish that book yourself, because you could do it. Because you're going to invest anyway. You're going to put money into it anyway. So why can't you, hire that book coach? Why can't you hire that book editor? Why can't you hire that cover designer yourself? You don't have to, put it all into the hands of one place. You could, divide it between 3 different places and still get a quality book. Still get a quality book. And who knows, that could open up some other avenues for you. Collaboration, getting people to work on your project. Okay? I mean, these things, I'm going to tell you, Tiffany, I'm going to tell you,
tell me
the camaraderie with people, and the people that we getting to know and didn't know before. I mean, this is opening up some great avenues for us. And the same when you publish your book. When you're out there and you're not afraid to invest in yourself at that level that you expect results, it's going to open up some great avenues for you. Who said that these people don't have people that would like to read your book? You don't know who they know. Who said that, the people that you're connected to through they're providing you their services. Who said that they didn't know people that could position your book in a place that will open up, many doors of opportunities for you? It's all about connections.
You cannot forsake that connection.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
One basket.
So that's what the digital space has opened up to us, as opposed to, doing it the old-fashioned way. The myth, better or not.
Talk to
People think that a traditional publisher, because they went to that big house, that big traditional pub, is better than people who self-publish their books. And that's a lie. That is not true. That's all a mindset. It just was a way of doing things once, long time ago. But it's, there's many different things, avenues now that are open.
And just got to walk through these avenues.
Huh?
So you got to walk through these avenues that are presented to us. That's catch.
Yeah, got to walk through. But people think that. They think it's better because I go through a traditional publisher because my book is better than yours. But that's not true. That's not true at all.
You ain't going to tell me your book is better than mine. No, ma'am. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. But I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. And they, they'll flaunt that. They'll think that. But that's not true at all. That's not true at all. You have to do the work. The same thing that traditional publisher could do, that will, if they take your book, okay, you could do yourself. You could do it yourself.
You just got to get out of the fear of being. You got to get out of the fear of doing stuff yourself. That's the catch of it. Learning to do it, and I think I can't push that enough. There's no reason for you to fear doing something yourself. But even if you've presented it to them, you've made the presentation to them, and now this is the time for you to know. Like Tommy and Shauna always say, sometimes we always want to get these automated systems and having things to do it for us. But getting your hands in there and getting a little dirty and knowing how to do stuff, it's a better feeling. Now, sometimes it can be strenuous. This is me saying. Sometimes it can be strenuous and it can become overwhelming. But you'll know how to do these things in the event that these automated systems are people that were doing things for you. In the event that it breaks down or they're not able to, life can still go on. You're still able to present yourself out there because you know how to do it. So you're not stuck. So in the process of you presenting to these individuals, if they tell you, no, get your hands dirty, get you a book find out how to do it. Go Google, find Miss Gertrude, so you'll understand how you're able to get your information out there, that you don't have to stop. You're able to still progress and move forward.
Yeah, get out there and do it yourself. That's the great way. Instead of just sitting back and not doing anything. Well, I'm just going to hand it over to the traditional publisher and I don't have to do anything. We talked about that. We talked about uh your book is your message, is your vision. Nobody could put that momentum. Nobody could see that vision like you could see that vision. And I'm so glad that this woman said, hey, well, you're going to tell me my book is junk, my book is this, that, and the other, and I know, my
That's still
message
blowing me.
is on point.
That's
I'm
still
going to just
blowing
take
me.
my book and I'm just going to publish it myself.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Absolutely.
but how
Absolutely.
many people give up when somebody tell them no?
Don't give up.
you know
Don't give up. Continue fighting on,
yeah,
especially if you know what you've placed in there is something valuable.
yeah.
Especially if whatever you've given your all and put it into there, and you know what you've deposited into there, woe be it unto you to stop. Don't stop, especially because somebody needs to hear that, whether it's a fantasy world that you've created, some kind of sci-fi, if it's fiction, nonfiction,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you've written. If you're going to open my mind up to discovering something new, or sometimes I need those the little sci-fi books or these little romance
Mhm.
novels to take my mind onto a different kind of world. I
Mhm.
need to shift from where I shift from
Yes.
my reality. Take me to another place, take me to another realm. It's some place that I need to go. And I appreciate that. If you know whatever you've deposited in this particular
Mhm.
book is worth it and it's going to help somebody, man. Mm,
Mhm. It's so true. It's so true. And it just brings me to think about, some people that I have talked to and how they were rejected, and some of them how after procrastinating writing their books and they took it that route, and how they were cut down, you know,
mhm,
and maybe they just
mhm,
gave up.
mhm,
As And then there are some that they went forward in
mhm.
spite of,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
produced beautiful pieces,
Mhm,
beautiful pieces.
mhm,
It's one thing when we're talking about having an editor
mhm,
where will tie that book in and bring your book into the best light,
mhm,
as opposed to sometimes what people do, and I'm talking about professional people, like publishing houses, just
mhm,
like with this lady,
mhm.
um telling her that just took her message and just put it in another light, as
Okay.
opposed to where she was trying to go with it. You know
Okay.
what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
And I
Okay.
know she probably felt some type of way. And
Mhm.
I promise you, I got to go back and see exactly what that was.
Okay.
Um, put it in another light. She was trying
Okay.
to reach an audience over here.
Sure. Sure.
And because they didn't think it was a book that they should publish at that particular time, and
Mhm,
with that message,
mhm.
how that would even, mess with people's mindset,
Sure, it can.
mess
Mhm,
with their self-esteem.
mhm. Put
But
me in some defeat. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
in a defeated mindset.
Mhm. So how do you think she could, how do you, moving to, I guess you should say this particular one. What do you
Okay.
think about this right here? How do you think we should count up the cost? Because I know you always make reference to us saying, well, throw something out there in a minute, and then all you done did, and now you done got your books over there in the corner and you done wasted your money.
There's
Yeah.
cost involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's cost involved. It's very costly,
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
very costly. If a
Uh,
person don't want to spend money on themselves doing it, the self-publishing way, it's gonna be very costly for that traditional publisher. Because you remember, they're carrying a heavy load. They're out there marketing the book, they're publishing that book, they're trying to find that right audience. Now you should know your audience, right? We teaching people here how to do it.
Absolutely.
You should know your audience. How you gonna write your book?
Right.
You know,
Right.
even with the and everything else in between, trying to get them out there to advertise it and everything. There's heavy costs involved.
Okay.
There's heavy costs involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you would save money by publishing it yourself.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
There's heavy costs involved, especially people who are trying to bootstrap their business or bootstrap. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Traditional publisher is not the way, because now you got to save up a lot of money.
Right. Okay.
So why do it that way?
Right.
You know, at one time, Tiffany, that was the way.
Yeah.
At one time, that was the way. That's not the way anymore.
Right. Right.
There's other avenues. So why put yourself through that when you could do it yourself? And guess what? If you do it digitally, you know, as an ebook,
there you go.
There's not really that many costs. What you got? You got an editor, okay, and you got a book cover designer,
right?
But at least you don't have to worry about, you know, buying the copies if that's what you do, because you know sometimes you buy your copies and you get them to ship the books to you, and then you sell them that way.
Yeah.
And you could also sell them on the platform.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to store books. You don't have to do any of those things. You know?
That's a beautiful thing.
What? When you self-publish, you keep your royalty. You keep all the royalty, or most of the royalty, because you remember you have those services: book coach, book editor, and cover designer.
Okay.
But the rest of it you keep. And you keep a large percentage, as opposed to the traditional publisher, and you only keep a small percentage of that royalty. So of course, when you put it up on the platform, like, you know, Barnes and Noble, or, you know, Google Play, or, you know, KDP, of course they get a percentage of your royalties, and they'll send you a check every month. Okay. If it's sold this month, what is this? This is January. You won't see it till February, or maybe the end of, you know, that period. Depends on, you know, when it is. But when you do it on your own platform, you understand, when you sell books on your own platform from your own website, well, that'll just drop in, you know,
right.
That'll just drop in your bank account. Whether it's you're doing it through Stripe, whether you're doing it through PayPal, you know, or any of those other ones. Okay. You know? Okay. People so then you're helping this cost.
You're helping us to save if we do it self-publishing versus if you're going to your traditional editor, then therefore it's going to cost you some more. Am I understanding that correctly?
It's going to cost you a lot. And it depends. I can't say, you know, how much it's going to be, because it depends on that traditional publisher. And I'm saying it's not a bad thing if that's the way a person, because we sold them. It's your choice. You choose. You know, you choose.
Gotcha.
It's their choice.
Because ultimately the choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
You get to choose what you want to do. If you want to spend a lot of money, or if you want to save a lot of money, and then you're going to end up seeing you're saving to a degree, but you're going to see it, because that's what you really want. You really want to be able to be in control of your money.
Yeah.
So you'll put in a little bit of effort, but that's the catch, is just what do you want to do? Are you willing to put in the work for what your good work is? You know what it is that you've put out there. You know your value. So go ahead and put in a little bit of work.
And that, like you said, a little bit of work, you know, you could reach your audience. Okay. You know, we teach you how to reach your audience. Okay. Yeah. Why do you have to rely on somebody else to reach your audience for you when you know how to reach your audience? Number one, if I gotta reach your audience for you, how did you write that book? How did you write that book? You have to have an audience in mind in order to write that book.
Sure.
You know, your name could be a household name.
Sure.
Where you position yourself and get in the right places, be seen, you know, get your book positioned, get yourself positioned, show up like you want to, like you should show up as that expert. Okay. Making those collaborations, those quality connections. You could be a household name. Why you have to rely on somebody else to make you a household name when you could do it yourself? Okay. This is the era of do it yourself. and
Absolutely.
stop relying on somebody else. We got to get out of that mindset, relying on somebody else
Yeah.
to do everything for us.
Right.
Do it
Right.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's how sometimes people get in trouble. And
Mm-hmm.
you heard this like a lot of times on TV. People get in trouble. They get in trouble with taxes and different things of that nature
Okay.
because what they hand things over to other people and
Mm-hmm.
they're not knowledgeable in that area,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't know anything about it or whatever, and they just leave it there,
Sure.
and then they get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
have to know something. You have to know something. You
Sure.
might not know
Sure.
it all, Tiffany,
Right.
but you
Right.
have to know something. You just
Mm-hmm.
can't just give everything over without knowing something about it. You have to know.
You
And
have to know.
yeah,
Yeah. You
you have
gotta.
to know your audience. How you just gonna hand your prized possession? That's why I like to say your book over to somebody, and for them to do whatever they want with it. I'm just gonna give you this. You do whatever. You see, this is, I don't know. Is this a way that people really care? I don't know. Maybe I'm going too deep right now.
Well,
Do you
you
really
like to
care
do
about
that
your
deep
audience?
dive. You like to do the deep dive. So go
Yeah,
ahead,
but do
dive
you
deep.
really care about your audience, or do you just
Absolutely.
care about getting that book out there? Do
Mm-hmm.
you really care? I don't
You, sh-
know. Maybe
you better.
everybody's not thinking this. Maybe this is the way I'm thinking this morning. I don't know.
Mm-mm. You better care about your audience because that's who you're trying to impact. That's
Yeah.
who you're trying to care for. Everyone that you're writing your book for definitely should matter. And you should always worry about who you're serving because that's a part of your reputation. How you handle people definitely matters. That's going to be something that's going to come back on you.
Mm-hmm.
As if I mishandle you, you're going to always remember that. And I still believe that the greatest form of advertisement is word of mouth. So
Yeah.
if I mishandle you and I do something wrong to you, you're going to run and tell that. You're going to tell somebody. Somebody's going to tell somebody, and somebody's going to tell somebody. And now that has spread across the land of whatever dysfunction or however it was I treated you. If I treat you bad or if I treat you good, either way
Mm-hmm.
I treat you, that's still some type of advertisement that you're going to tell somebody.
Mm-hmm.
She's a nice individual. Oh, you need to go talk to her. Man, this is somebody that's helped me. You should go see her
Mm-hmm.
too. Oh my gosh, she's an evil individual. Stay away from her. You don't want to do
Mm-hmm.
business with her. When I did this, blah blah blah. Whatever it is, word of mouth is going to get out and it's going to
Yeah.
throw it out there. So how you deal with people, it definitely matters. So how you're dealing with your audience, how you handle them. If I reach out to you and ask you a question and you never answer it, then it's going to reflect. Facebook has this wonderful feature when people send you well, I have a business page, so when somebody sends me a message, it says they typically responds within 24 hours, typically responds within 48
Mm-hmm.
hours. It tells you how fast the individual responds to it. So that's what you want.
Yeah.
When people come to you, I need to give you a response within 24 to 48 hours. When I was a property manager, we had 48 hours before we had to respond to certain events unless it was an emergency. It was the lights, it was your refrigerator went out, stove went out. Certain things were
Things.
labeled as an emergency that I had to deal with right away. Outside of that, I got about 48 hours before I have to turn over and respond to things. But it matters how you respond to people, how you interact with people, how you handle people. That matters. If you want to build a good following, if you want to build a good audience, how you handle them matters. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to handle them with some white gloves. I'll say. I won't say kid gloves. I'm just going to say
Mm-hmm.
handle them with white gloves because you just want to make sure you handle them with care. Sometimes they're fragile, and you need to handle them with care. But how you handle individuals definitely matters. I
Yes,
so
it does.
about that. I
Good
care.
morning, Francis. How you doing today? It's so true. How you handle individuals
Hmm.
definitely matters. And
Hmm.
then it brings us to the last one: patience and thick skin. You know, you have to be patient when you're talking about traditional publishing. You have to have thick skin because you'll get rejected. You may get rejected a lot of times. Because it depends on that publishing house whether they're doing that genre book It could be a lot of other things. It could be because they don't think that your book should be published at this time, or maybe there's other people that's have a bigger name than you. So you have to have thick skin. Now that's something right there, right? That's something right there. Thick skin.
That
That
thick
rejection.
skin.
Thick skin. Yeah.
That thick skin. That's something my mama always used to tell me about all the time. Yeah, she always said that you had to have like a little turtle shell, so that when the water got on there, it would just roll off and it just beads
Roll.
away. So it was just one of those little things that eventually, and then I'm the baby. We have three. I have three kids, and my mom had three. She has two boys and a girl, and so do I. And so, but I had two older brothers. They're 9 and 7 years older than I am. But it was a beautiful thing being the baby for them, because I kind of was like that little tomboy and you couldn't tell me nothing. But they taught me a lot of stuff as to have some thick skin, and a lot of stuff will roll off. So we just be out there and we're doing the dozens and we're joking on each other, and we just be, we're going in on each other. But there's a lot of things that it taught me. It taught me how to have thick skin. So you could talk about me as I was short. I'm 5'4". So, and I was that skinny little girl. I wasn't no bigger than this right here. So I've always been that little skinny girl. So now I got a little meat on my bone. You can't tell me nothing. I'm a little slim thick now. But I said all that to say they taught me how to have thick skin. So certain things that they would tease me about, like one of the biggest things that I used to get teased about is having these big eyes that I have. And so they used to see, because they were like really big, you could see, I see everything. But I learned to turn that around. Instead of you seeing you got them big old eyes, you look like Marge Simpson with your eyes. Like, it didn't have to be no more. So it was one of those things. Before I could be like, man, I can't believe you talking about me and my big eyes, whatever. But then I just learned to flip it, like I like my eyes. I love my eyes. I play on my eyes all the time and think they're super beautiful now. But before, I kind of was like, so I want to do one of these little numbers at all times. Like, you ain't gonna tease me about having big eyes. Like, you can't see them now. So it just used to become a thing, but I learned how to flip them out. Like, I think they're the most beautifulest thing now. And then for me now, I tell you, sure, I got big eyes, but with these big eyes, I see a lot. Now you're always calling me and being like, hey, Tiffany, do you see that? Yeah, I do. And as I'm looking at you, I see stuff that's happening over here. My peripherals work great. So, like, I flipped a lot of things, the things that certain people try to Jones me about, or they used to try to tease me about. Those things, they don't bother me. Sure, I'm short, but everybody likes a short girl. So who cares? You can be super tall. I can get into small places. Who cares? You want me, you're trying to get behind the couch and I can walk right behind the couch. So what? Like, you have to find ways of flipping perspective of how things are turned negatively towards you. You turn that negative into a positive. So for me, I learned to have thick skin, but luckily it was just the kids on the block that, that used to try to pick at me. And I'm just grateful for my brothers in this aspect, because they taught me how to have thick skin. So when people say certain things in the work area, or whatever it is that I'm dealing with, it doesn't hurt me and it doesn't sting like it possibly would if I didn't have that thick skin. And thanks to my grandmother, I was learning to exercise patience. Patience has became a virtue in my life. So there's a lot of times that I'm like, I'm waiting to see the royalties from the book. I'm waiting to see that. But then it also goes on to how much am I pushing my book? I can see and I can wait and be patient to see the royalties from that if I'm actually actively pushing that, if I'm out there selling it. We talk about having the millions all the time. The cost of my book and my ebook, there's a slight difference in price. However, if my ebook is $10, if I only sell like 10 a day, how much am I getting? That's on a daily basis. How much am I willing to push out there just to sell 10 books a day, just to see a small revenue? It's just the way that you stack stuff up, in the way that you look at it, how you're telling being a millionaire isn't hard. Being a thousandaire, it don't have to be hard either. So it's the way you set up stuff. If you always want to say that, oh, this is just really hard, dude, a $10 book isn't hard to sell. A
Mhm.
$15 book isn't hard to sell. And if you put a small little goal and say, if I can just reach 10 people, if I can just reach 5 people, that's just per day. You'll see the little advertisements. Your 50 cent a day can change the world of a hungry kid. So if you think about your
Yes.
50 cent a day can change the life of a kid, how much can your $10 a day change the lives of 10 individuals? So it's about
Hmm.
perspective and having the patience with yourself and with others, but you got to put yourself out there. And if somebody tells you no, that's one person that told me no. I got 10 people that I got to reach. All right. One person already told me that's 9 people that I already got to reach. All right. You told me no. Okay. But the 3 no's that I heard, I done got 4 yeses. That's 5 people that I done reached. Now I got 5 more people that
5
I.
more.
So it's about how you're really wanting to look at it and just having patience to just go ahead and continue to pursue what it is that you want to get your goal out there. And then eventually, after a while, how we talked about a little while ago, that word of mouth is going to get out there. So I've consistently tried to reach 10 people a day. Now the 10 people that I've impacted, they've read what it was that I wrote out there. And now these 10 people are going to reach other people.
That
So
is so true.
it's about me caring for the audience that I have, and then me tending to them people that have purchased that book. Thank you for purchasing it. How did you feel about that? Then next thing you know, they're willing to write a review. People go onto your page, they go on to see the Amazon, they say, oh, somebody wrote a
Mhm.
book. Oh, you got a review. Wow, they did that. Do I want to buy? Everybody always wants to see what your reviews look like. They don't want to purchase until you see that review.
That's it.
That's nice. But if you're tending to your audience, that keeps them to wanting to, all right, I read this book. It was nice. Regardless
Yes.
if there's a long review that I got in there, and oh my God, it blesses my life. And I'm super grateful for that review.
Yeah.
Man, that review, every time sometimes I get discouraged, honest moment. If I get discouraged, I go back and read that review. I'm talking, it's not a little paragraph. It's like she wrote a book in regards to that particular, but how
But that
she
was good.
yes,
Yes.
it was something that blessed her life. So for me, I'm super grateful for that. But putting stuff out there, reaching out to individuals, talking to the individuals,
Yes.
following up for them, and creating that bond with individuals, it matters, and it
Important.
it it helps them. In turn, you helping them, it helps you also. So help somebody help you help themselves, but it comes back to helping you. Right. But it's not being selfish with that. I said what I needed to say. I got it out. Now they're getting it out to other people. Reviews,
Yes.
but being patient with yourself. Being patient, having
Yes.
and understanding that no does not stop you. It should propel you.
And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. That just wrap it up right there. That's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. So you got to get to know that audience. Yes,
Get
traditional publishing or
mhm,
self-publishing,
mhm,
it's your choice. But you
mhm,
have to get to know your audience. There's a
mhm. Right.
timeline, there's a myth, better or not, there's
Yeah.
cost involved, and
Mhm.
being patient and having thick skin, because it
Yes.
certainly is,
Mhm.
how you look at things.
It's how
How
you.
you look at things. And
Mhm.
don't forget, you're going to hear about our workshop that's coming up in
Yeah. Uh-huh.
February 16th, I
17.
believe. 17th. That's
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
February 17th, where we're talking about goal setting, because
Mhm.
it's all about how you look at things. Okay.
Mhm.
That's a
Mhm.
mindset shift right there.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, we hope that what we have shared with you has brought value to you
Yeah.
and has added something in there, a
Yeah.
nugget in there, a nugget or two to
Mhm.
see that you could do this yourself. Okay. Do not be afraid. Do
Mhm.
not be afraid to venture out into
Mhm.
areas that may have held you back in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
You have to, just get out there and
Yeah.
launch out in the deep,
Mhm.
because there's so much more that you
Mhm.
could do if you just give yourself an opportunity. And with
Yes.
that being said, we
Yes.
want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today on Turning Your Passion into Profit
Yeah.
Morning Show. And
Yes.
Monday, we're going to not only do this show, but
Mhm.
we're going to be on Clubhouse at 12
Yes.
noon,
Mhm.
Monday through Friday. And that one's called, what did I always say that?
Maximizing your potential.
Maximizing your potential. You see, sometimes I forget. Maximizing your potential.
Mhm.
So we'll see you here on Monday at
Mhm.
10 o'clock a.m. Eastern
Yes.
Standard Time. And
Yes.
don't forget to go over there to Clubhouse to
Mhm.
maximizing your potential at
Yeah.
12 noon. And
Yeah.
with that being said, remember this. This is your time. This is your season. This
This
is
is
your
your
time.
turn.
So have a great rest of your day.
Grace and peace, y'all.